talk about actual woo-woo stuff then.
Yeah.
Like, are we at war with Russia already? Dun dun dun.
Oh yeah.
You seen all that shit?
Yeah. Spooky theme tune time. Spooky.
I pooped myself today. See if I still shit it.
Yeah.
The bog roll tears a hole. Finger goes to see if I still. What have I become? What have I become? My empire of dirt.
The finger tears a hole.
You could have it all.
This is something I'm not familiar with.
Empire of poo.
My empire of dirt.
My empire of dog dirt.
I will make you smell. I will make you
finger.
burp.
Oh no,
Yeah.
girl, God damn.
So, I would like to say, are we live?
And he doesn't want
Yes,
to
we're
do
live.
any of it.
Yes, we're live.
Well, in that case, can I just say that this is a very touching and serious subject. So, if you have been affected by any of the issues raised in today's, that's a point. I was going to say,
go cry to another podcast, not our fucking comment section.
go right to points of view and say, why isn't Anne Widdecombe on it anymore?
Yeah, Terry will.
As we'll find out later when we start really digging at the BBC. Right to points of view and ask him why Jimmy Saville isn't on the telly anymore because everybody fucking loves him and he's such a massive superstar.
Yeah, if you haven't mentioned that bit, like BBC, they would have
actually
been
fuck it. I'm going to mention that bit right now. I've watched many documentaries on Jimmy Savile, and in one of them, they literally victim blamed. Like the only reason we had wall to wall Jimmy Savile was because everybody in the British public loved him so much.
You know when the BBC, like the TV license people ring you up and they say, "Oh, you need your TV license." I just tell them, "Sorry, I don't pay for paedophiles." And I put the phone down.
I'm not paying the nonce tax. Go fuck yourself.
And convicted paedophiles at the BBC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shit, no.
Because
have they had a convicted paedophile?
Philip Schofield has not been convicted of noncing.
Jimmy Savile not convicted.
Philip Schofield's also been on the BBC.
Allegedly, then.
Rolf Harris. Rolf Harris convicted.
Oh yeah, Rolf. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, he was on the BBC.
Safe.
Right, let's
what
the BBC presenter convicted. This might actually just turn into a bashing the BBC stream.
I'm happy with that. I think that's quite good. I just remembered I said to a mate that...
Should we talk about all the fucking people that suicided themselves?
Were we going to do
convicted paedophile? Convicted paedophile.
Were we going to do that as a separate episode? The BBC people what have done top themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I didn't know about this. Like,
no, it's something I started a while ago. I need to update it, but I did find rather a lot of people ended themselves. I don't know whether it's something to do with the BBC or.
If they had the news that would lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton or Sir Jimmy Savile,
I'm about to say.
Well, no one would squeal on Jimmy Savile because he was just so fucking popular, weren't he? Like, do you just remember? Like, oh no, that's it. I'll top myself if Jimmy Savile isn't on the telly tonight.
Well, like I said, when I was about 3 years old watching Jim will Fix It, I remember being mesmerised, and now I can understand how the Germans would have been hypnotised by Magic Moustache Man.
Well, there's also
I just had this irrational need to
does talk much like Tony Blair talks with the neural linguistic.
Now then, how's about that then?
Yes.
And now one of the things. I'm not sure if we want to get into it right away, but I will just say that Jimmy Savile, he was a druid, he was a wizard, and
You're a wizard, Saville.
and he was famous for.
You're a wizard. Hold on, what's his name? You're a wizard, James Wilson Vincent Saville.
I was going to say, you mentioned the Vincent and Wilson. Yeah, Wilson. Fucking Wilson as a first name. I mean, I'm surprised he wasn't called Leslie. But
he was born in 1926. I think it was
like
all magicians. He had his own. He had a wand, but his wand was a cigar.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else then. I was like, "Oh, you're going to say that?"
His pork wand.
Well, he wasn't waving that about in public.
Now then, there was many a girl
cigar.
had a magical time with his pork wand.
There was, he's quite famously depicted with his cigar.
Yeah.
Trying to think, there was something else about this as well. Like,
did you know?
Freud would have said he's compensating for something.
Oh well, that's the one. I was on Wikipedia because he's Sir James Vincent Saville, who's got most excellent order of the British Empire.
Have you been possessed by Chekhov or something from Star Trek?
Vincent.
Wilson
Vincent. Yeah, look, it's. I'm trying to get to the next bit. His titles. He's a Sir. He's got an OBE, which is Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, and a KCSG, which is the Pontifical Equestrian Order of St. Gregory the Great. So there you go. And he's also Knight Bachelor was awarded in 1990, as you pointed out. He was... Now... There's a couple of things I remember him saying, apart from now then, how's about that then, which is his version of abracadabra. He made this interesting and I'll say it's an interesting statement. Me and the royal family go back 1,000,000 years. And why I find that interesting is the marriage counsellor during the divorce of who is now King Charles, but back then was Prince Charles, and Lady Diana, or was Princess Diana, it was Jimmy Savile.
Well, when you are having troubles in your marriage, you obviously want to go to a weird bachelor that touches kids. Like that's the first person you think of when you want marriage advice. That when you want to have a long, happy marriage.
We're going to play the play that clip where that horrible teenager in the Top of the Pop studio kept assaulting Jimmy Savile's hand with her breasts.
She was asking for it, just standing there with female sexual organs. She was just asking for it. I mean, but obviously we had to keep Jimmy on the telly because he was just so popular with the plebs.
Well, that's the point. Just like everybody in the public, they couldn't keep their breasts off of him because he's just there, casually holding his hands out, and he's getting sexually assaulted by these women's breasts that keep rubbing up against him.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you might look at it and say, actually, it looks like Jimmy Savile's doing the groping and they're trying to wriggle away from him.
Well,
that's because
if you wanted to bring down such a well-beloved icon by the British public.
But the BBC has told me that if you say that, you're racist Brexit gammon and you hate the man of the people, Sir Jimmy Savile,
well, you remember
OBE,
all those letters
KGSG.
Dear Points of View, there's just not enough Jimmy Savile on the TV. It was just letter after letter, weren't it, on Points of View? That's why they had to stop doing Points of View, because all their mailbag was just constantly asking for more Jimmy Savile on TV.
I mean, they tried to replace the gap in the air where Jimmy Savile was on all the time with Ant and Dec, but I don't think but I don't think the British public took to Ant and Dec as well as Sir Jimmy Savile, OBE, KCSG.
Well, see, that's what they should have. They should do the Noel Fielding. Noel will fix it, and it'll have just exactly the same energy, won't it?
I saw an episode of the Great British Bake Off where they're making Mexican tacos, as they call them, as opposed to any other form of tacos, like Punjabi tacos.
Well, wouldn't they just be British tacos when they're over here?
And well, the funny thing is you got people that have never seen a taco, following a recipe, not understanding what a taco is supposed to look like. But Noel Fielding was there, along with this baldy that looked like a serious version of Harry Hill.
Is that Greg Wallace?
I don't know who these people are. I don't watch telly. I know Noel Fielding because I've seen the Mighty. But I'm just watching it there, and I'm just like, why have they got the guy
so many
that
people
was?
go, "Oh, you should watch the Mighty Boosh. It's so funny." And I'm like, "No, that bloke really gives me Jimmy Savile vibes."
Well, that's why he was perfectly cast in the It Crowd, because he's literally the creepy guy, the creepy goth that lives in the server room, and he scares everybody.
Yeah.
They all act in horror when he like creeps up on them, because Noel Fielding literally does creep up on them. But anyway, maybe in a few years' time we'll revisit this episode and talk more about Noel Fielding. But Sir Jimmy Savile,
we're gonna have to wait till Noel Fielding is dead, because he's just so popular, and they won't come out until all this stuff won't come out until he's dead.
So Sir James Vincent Savile, OBE KCSG,
Kipton.
Yeah. He was so 26 until 2011. He was an English media.
Do you know what day of the year he was birthed?
The 31st of October, so that's Halloween, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said he was a wizard, right? Or a witch? Was his parents?
A druid.
Isn't he the seventh son as well, or something? Isn't he the?
Oh God, no! Please don't.
I think he might be. I just got to.
Seventh son of a seventh son.
He hosted the BBC shows Top of the Pops and Jim Will Fix It. And then there were some allegations of sexual abuse, and leading the police to conclude he had been a predatory sex offender. I remember reading a transcript where the police were interviewing him during his time, and they were very, very kid gloves with him. So, as a teenager during the Second World War, he worked in the coal mines as a Bevan boy. Now, what's a Bevan boy? They were young British men conscripted to work in coal mines between 1943 and 1948 to increase the rate of coal production. So it was named after Ernest Bevan, the Labour Party politician who said, "We need coal." He was a regular presenter, Saville was, on the BBC music show Top of the Pops, also co-presenting the last edition in 2006. In 1968, he began hosting his own radio shows for Radio 1.
If he just wasn't so goddamn popular, he wouldn't have been the person who finished off Top of the Pops, would he? Just popular. Just everybody. Anybody who's ever watched the BBC, it's your fault Jimmy Savile did what he did. Because he was so popular, the BBC couldn't actually do anything to stop him.
Well, as you know, the BBC are very much of the people for the people. So because everybody was clamouring for more Jimmy, they were just like, well, our hands are tied. We have to have more of him on the thing.
What are we supposed to do? You lot want Jimmy Savile, like 24 hours. Like, the BBC could have started as a 24-hour Jimmy Savile channel.
Well, BBC News 24 was originally be called BBC Jimmy Savile 24. Yeah. But then they decided
But then the Tories stopped it because Thatcher. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Fucking Tories with their policies of... isn't the Tory manifesto is we're going to be as evil as possible, and yet somehow people keep voting for us. What do we have to do to make you stop voting for us? Yeah. And Labour's just
Margaret Thatcher even tried by being best mates with Jimmy Savile, but
And then Labour's manifesto seems to be we've smeared poo on the walls, and yet people still keep voting for us. I'm really looking forward to this year's general election.
Yeah, it's like. Who wants to win this election? We don't. Neither of us.
Yeah, we don't.
Can I just say?
How about you give the Lib Dems a go, guys? Yeah, pick those guys.
Because we're doing this episode now, I wish Sir Jimmy Savile, OBE, KCJ. Basically, he's got loads of titles.
Did he get his OBE taken away, or is that his knighthood? I can't remember.
I think they took the knighthood, didn't they? Although it still says
not his OBE.
Wikipedia page.
I think the rules now say you don't have to be a nonce to be knighted, but it helps.
It's definitely a qualification that you need on the shoot.
I mean, there's a lot of the Knights of the Realm who seem to be nonces or doing
wrong.
So just lets you, having Sir in your name just lets you get away with it. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's like once you've done enough noncing, you get knighted.
Oh. So
why isn't Gary Glitter knighted then?
Wasn't Greville Janner a Sir as well? It was like, yeah, we're going to do the charges on him any minute. Any minute now, we're going to do these charges. Oh no, he might be seen now. We can't do the charges. Oh no, he's dead. What do you know? He just slipped out of our fingers.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the thing is, the police they never really prosecuted him during the time because insubstantial evidence from 400 lines of inquiry.
The police were absolutely terrified of.
Were
they terrified of the public backlash.
Could you imagine that if they'd have dared to try and take Jimmy Savile off of the TV screens? There'd have been uproar. There'd have been riots in the streets.
They know that the poll tax.
Is that why they never prosecuted him?
Well, that's funny you mentioned Kevin Spacey. I'm sure there's a link between the two of them. Did Jeffrey Epstein ever go?
Kevin will fix it.
It's not Kevin Spacey.
No, he got acquitted, didn't he? He got acquitted because none of them turned up because they're all dead or missing.
All of his witnesses are dead or missing. Exactly. Yeah. I wonder if
Kevin Spacey. He's lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or unlucky because he can't clear his name in court properly, can he? Because there's no one to speak. You know, he can't refute. He can't knock these claims down. So.
Yeah. It's in legal limbo now, isn't it? I guess.
So he'll just have to live knowing that he can never clear his name properly, which obviously he intended to do and probably would have done as well.
Poor man, my heart bleeds for him. Is there anything we can do for him?
I don't know.
Sir Jimmy Savile, if he was alive today, what would his take be on the general elections and how 120 MPs have all resigned recently? Is that a lot to happen in 1 year? Or is that just completely normal?
Have they actually resigned, or are they just? Is it because of the election?
They're just not standing. They're just not going to bother standing. They don't want to lose their deposit.
Oh yeah, well they know what's coming then, right? Russia.
Yeah, there's obviously some. Well, I think.
Are we saving the unexplained mysteries until now later? Because there was that interesting a UFO that went over Heathrow. Saving that for later.
It didn't look like a UFO to me, Hobbit. It looked like something else. But
what you're saying, it's an identified flying object.
But it had smoke trails coming out of it, now if you
kind of
rocket-propelled object, maybe.
If you refer back to our previous episodes, those are actually condensation trails, smoke or aerosol particles.
You were saying, which way would Jimmy be voting? We know which way, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So Jimmy's on board, and you vote Conservative in 2010.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So anyway, he was awarded the OBE in 1971, and it was 1990. That's a lot of nines. Following his death in 2011 at the age of 84, Saville was praised in obituaries for his personal qualities and his work raising an estimated £40 million for charities.
As evidence goes, look, Jimmy Savile can't be accused of any of these crimes because he said he's wearing a badge there that says the NSPCC is great.
Well, there you go.
Would you do
and
that?
Also,
would you do that if you were touching kids? You wouldn't, would you? You wouldn't want to look like a hypocrite, would you?
God,
Gary Glitter hasn't got his knighthood paid enough yet. In October 2012, an ITV documentary examined claims of sexual abuse by Saville. This led to extensive media coverage and a substantial and rapidly growing body of witness statements and sexual abuse claims, including spurious accusations against public bodies for covering up or failure of duty. As we know, the BBC.
Hold on, I've got some late news. I've got some late news in here. I'm not quite sure which way Jimmy Savile was voting because it appears. I'm going to read this caption.
Just have a look.
I don't believe it. One sick individual, now university loathed by a nation for shafting the innocent. Seen here with Jimmy Savile.
Oh,
who's that?
One Anthony Linton. Is it Charles Anthony Linton Blair? What's his full name?
Oh,
Someone in the Rumble chat is saying, "I love Jimmy Savile as much as I love testicular cancer." It's a bit of a double-edged.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Jimmy Savile standing next to popular Conservative Member of Parliament, Sir Tony Blair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think those two men have anything in common?
They're both good Catholic boys, aren't they? Is that right? Yeah.
Hey, you take that back.
Bad
They both got
bad boy.
Not Catholic. They both got predatory smiles.
Predatory smiles. Obviously,
Craig Wilson says,
"Bully Tony Blair."
Yes.
Bully.
Yeah, don't sit your bum buddy Gaylord Mandelson on us. Which, by the way, he's a lord. He's homosexual. So Gaylord Mandelson is an accurate statement. UK government. That's not an insult. I'm not denigrating Gaylord Mandelson. I'm merely pointing out the fact that the homosexual Lord Peter Mandelson is gay and a lord. Gaylord Mandelson.
Okay.
Excuse me, I'll get my coat. Be right back.
I've got to say, that's a very nice jumper that Tony Blair's got on there. A very nice jumper, Tony. I hope he's still got it. Where's Hobbit gone again? Has he disappeared?
What's Peter Mandelson up to these days? I'll just get my cold. We're in the middle of summer, and that's why it's busy raining and it's completely overcast here because it's summer. We're in summer. That's what we're at. That's why it's fucking freezing, despite it being summer. It's 15 degrees outside. Well, it's less than that now.
I don't know, it's quite warm.
15 degrees.
Finally came out after we got pissed on all day.
Yeah. It came out for all of half an hour over here.
Yeah.
Keep it safe, lad. For work, lads.
The UK government for doing that to us.
Frith asks, but as we found out, that's just a conspiracy theory. But if they
don't know whose last few tweets, they're Frith.
Frith says, "Keep it safe for work, lads, in the supermarket." So, hey, look at that 2-for-1 offer on cheese.
Well, you don't have it on fucking blast, do you?
He's pink news icon, Gaylord Peter Mandelson. Yeah, it's just. What's he up to these days? Has he got anything to do with Sir Jimmy Savile? Let's read more about him and find out.
Which one?
Is there any link between Jimmy Savile and Gaylord Mandelson?
I bet Savile was in the Fabian Society, weren't he?
So let's see. No, it might not talk about like his hobbies, like being a druid and such. Savile, born in Consort Terrace in the Burley area of Leeds. Cultured, I've been to Leeds. And for some reason, Leeds is called West Riding of Yorkshire.
It's West Riding has one of the finest police forces ever known. I think was it West Riding that because there was a TV series about it, weren't there, called Red Riding, or was it Red Riding or West Riding? There was about the police force that absolutely didn't bungle with the Yorkshire Ripper.
Hillsborough disaster.
Also, the Yorkshire Ripper, didn't the Yorkshire Ripper kill someone basically in Jimmy's backyard as well?
We'll never know.
Hey, when was the Yorkshire Ripper again? What era?
How do we explain? Because, by the way, Americans, they find it like weird. We've got county names with the ending of sex, like Sussex and Essex, and we used to have Wessex before it became Cornwall and Devon. But how do we explain? So we have counties in our country, but the county of Yorkshire, or the Shire of Yorkshire, is further divided into 3 divisions called ridings.
Right, so I found this from the Mirror, Hobbit. Jimmy Savile's chilling link to the Yorkshire Ripper as police took cast of teeth over murders. Jimmy Savile turned out to be one of the most prolific he's allegedly, because he wasn't actually convicted, in UK history, but escaped justice as his crimes were not properly uncovered till after his death. Well, everybody knew about his crimes until before his death, but the elite decided not to do anything about it. So it's not quite properly uncovered. They were properly uncovered.
So Sir Vincent James Wilson Saville was the youngest of 7 children. His elder siblings
I've got to say, my favourite story about Saville was when all the rumours came out and the Ripper said, "I didn't know him, Gov. I'm distancing myself from that sick bastard."
I disavow anything Sir Jimmy Savile, OBE, has done.
Yeah.
I, Jack the Ripper.
Imagine being disavowed by the Yorkshire Ripper. That's fucking bad.
Denounced by the Yorkshire Ripper,
yeah. So, as the youngest of 7 children, his elder siblings were Mary, Marjorie, Vincent, John, Joan, and Christina in the Roman Catholic family. And there's 3 citations for Roman Catholics. Let's have a look what those citations said. Jimmy Savile, Yorkshire rejects tainted legacy. Obituary, Sir Jimmy Savile. And Savile Jimmy, 1979, God will fix it. So, oh, right, okay. That's an autobiography. His parents were Vincent Joseph Saville, who's 1886 to 1953. A bookmaker's clerk and insurance agent, and his wife, Agnes Monica Kelly. His paternal grandmother was Scottish, whilst his mother was of Irish descent. Saville grew up during the Great Depression and later claimed, "I was forged in the crucible of want. Now then, how's about that then?" He described his father as scrupulously honest but scrupulously broke. That's not... I can't do his voice.
That's saying something without words. And
yeah. Saville's mother believed he owed his life to the intercession of Margaret Sinclair, a Scottish nun, after he recovered quickly from illness, possibly pneumonia. At the age of 2, when his mother prayed at a Leeds cathedral after picking up a pamphlet about Sinclair. Saville went to St Anne's Roman Catholic School in Leeds. After leaving school at the age of 14, he worked in an office.
Hobbit, I'm going to have to intercede here, and I think this is further proof that Catholicism is satanic. I've just got to say, I've got to say it, Hobbit. Cloud over Catholicism confirmed.
Now, far be it for me to say what. Far be it for me to say what definitively is or is not Catholic, but I believe Sir Jimmy Savile, OBE KGSG, is the same. He recovered
from fucking illness after being prayed over by a Catholic nun.
Right. So what I'm about to say is, I think he's the same branch of Catholicism as Joseph Robinette Bynum, who has his own personal rabbi.
The main one.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
The only one Catholicism.
Correct me if I'm.
Why do you think Henry VIII turned away from Catholicism?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's why.
As far as I know, you don't have a rabbi in Catholicism.
Yeah, but you have fucking Margaret Sinclair who goes around healing people like fucking Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, and that's the thing. God would heal people like Jimmy Savile. But you got to ask, all those other children that died before they became nonces, God didn't save them. We only hear about the ones that he saved.
What are you trying to imply?
I'm trying to imply that this one slept through.
You literally reaffirmed my point. All those fucking non-Nazi kids that Catholicism didn't save, and it's saved Jimmy Savile. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying we're not talking about the ones that didn't make it to adulthood.
Yeah, the good ones.
Oh. Anyway, so he left school at the age of 14, working in an office. At the age of 18, during the he was conscripted to work as a Bevan boy and worked in coal mines. He reportedly suffered spinal injuries from a shot firer's explosion. He spent a long period recuperating, wearing a steel corset and for 3 years walking with the aid of sticks. Following his colliery work, Saville became a scrap metal dealer to his steptoe son.
How do you start up as a scrap metal dealer? I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to become a scrap metal dealer.
Oh, you don't need that copper, do you? I'll have that.
He's Saville's like the modern day Joseph. Is it Joseph Campbell?
Joseph Buxton.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, scrap metal, all that means is he's just been taking copper and lead off of work sites.
At the age of 19, Saville created his own banana.
Saville started playing records in dance halls in the early 1940s and claimed to be the first DJ. According to his autobiography, he was the first to use 2 turntables and a microphone.
Two turntables
Grand
and a
Records
microphone.
Ball.
I think that's a Beastie Boys song.
At the Grand Records Ball at the Garbridge Hotel, well, it's standard fare for a DJ.
I just love that.
You got
Oh, wow, nobody else could have thought of using 2 turntables to play records.
2 turntables, a mixing desk, and a microphone. So where are we? 1940s, turntables. And he did that at the Grand Records Ball at the Garbridge Hotel in 1947. Though his claim to have been the first is untrue, twin turntables were illustrated in BBC Handbook in 1929 and advertised for sale in Gramophone magazine in 1931. He became a semi-professional sportsman.
Which means before that, people were just hooking them up themselves, don't they? Doesn't it?
Yeah. It just, like, at some point, somebody figured out, you know what, it'd be good to have... Because the thing is
he the new Barry... What's his name? Barry, what's his name? That absolutely didn't kill Jill Dando. Is he the new Barry... What's his face?
Scott.
Yeah. No, not Barry Scott. You remember...
Barry Scott.
I'm Barry Scott, and I'm going to roller skate over these
3 buses, even though he couldn't possibly have held a gun to.
Hi, my name's Barry Scott, and I'm going to jump over these.
Oh, what was his name? Yeah.
Bang, 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 and the Jill Dando's gone.
Isn't it funny? Joe Dando disappeared around the time that the Jimmy Savile thing was. Well,
that's the thing. So, if you harken back to one of our earliest episodes, we do talk about Jill Dando and the strange case of the magical mystery retard man, Barry Scott, who is both incredibly stupid but also the world's most prolific assassin. And Jill Dando,
literally Kaiser Soze. I think The Usual Suspects is based on Barry. What is his fucking name?
I'm sure it's Barry Scott.
It's not Barry Scott.
I
Barry George.
think it is Barry Scott.
Barry George?
Barry George, yeah.
Barry George.
No way.
Yeah.
Barry, look, like, I think The Usual Suspects is Barry George's like story. Like, if I did it.
Yeah, it's strange. Jill Dando was researching the noncing allegations and was going to do a documentary about it, but then not Barry Scott went up to Jill Dando and said, "Bang, bang, bang, you're gone," and then she went
one,
gone.
Wasn't it? It was one through the ear, weren't it? It was just at the base of the ear, weren't it? That went through.
I'm trying to do the Barry Scott.
So it's literally bang and the Jill Dando's gone.
I'm appealing to people that you gave up watching television at the same time as.
What's the difference between Jill Dando and a pint of beer, Hobbit?
I don't know.
A pint of beer is fine if you blow the head off.
Not in Japan.
Dude. Jill Dando.
Still buffering, man.
We're back, Hobbit.
Oh,
Yeah, I know you're back, but it's not back on the YouTube. Is it back on the Rumble?
Yeah, it's on. We're back.
Yeah, only went off for a couple of seconds.
How come is it that on the Rumble it just shows 14 words, but on the YouTube it shows Jimmy Savile and Britain's most hated man?
What, Rishi Sunak?
Who is more hated, Anthony Linton Blair or Jimmy Charles Vincent Savile? So
he was a sportsman.
Way to find out. Fight.
Yeah,
that's how we used to say.
So in 1951, he competed in the Tour of Britain cycle race and working as a professional wrestler. Jimmy Savile was a professional wrestler.
Yes.
Yeah, of young girls.
I bet he was doing like illegal moves, like in their arm,
sticking his finger up people's bum.
Oh. Savile lived in Salford from mid-1960s.
Salford, like Manchester, home of what are they?
Escorts.
Brady and Hindley and Braley. They were in.
Oh, I was going to say there is a certain purveyor of escorts in Salford who lives there.
He's more of an enjoyer. He's not a purveyor. He doesn't provide them.
But he provides them with cash.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I think a purveyor... Hold on. I've got to find out what a purveyor is, but I'm pretty sure a
purveyor is someone who sells it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Multiplying circles.
One that furnishes or sells something, especially food. Did you know that?
So you furnish people with food? I suppose you can. When he lived in Great Close
One
Street
that
in
promulgates something. A purveyor of lies is the quote.
So when he lived at Great Close Street in Highton, Salford, he was often sitting on his front doorsteps. He managed the Mecca Locarno Ballroom in Leeds in the late 1950s.
Is it snobby to say that people who sit outside the front of their house are a bit common? Is that snobby?
Well, it's like, why are you loitering outside your house? Why not loiter indoors?
You're not allowed outside your house anymore?
Yeah, I
say
say so.
I was always raised to say it was a bit common.
Get back inside.
Bit common.
Well, if people sit outside on the pavement on the deck chair or something, yeah, that's a bit weird.
Yeah. Or sit out
in the
garden and just talk to everybody that comes by.
Is that common?
I don't know. I was.
Well, it's not. It's not common anymore. I don't see people just sitting in their garden.
I don't mean
waving
common
to...
as in that. I mean as in Blur, not Blur. Pulp talking about the common people.
I mean, I wish more people would do that now. This is one of the things where I live,
the
people.
DJ is supposed to be about Saville.
Oh, okay.
I preferred. Oh no, what was Casimir's version of that? Hobbit. There's panic on the streets of Timperley.
That's it. Yeah.
R.I.P. Frank Sidebottom.
Yep. Well, wasn't he in prison in Romania now?
Frank Sidebottom?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Remember, all those photos of him? He's got tatties.
Frank Sidebottom, the bloke with the paper mache head?
No, I'm talking about Andrew Tate. He looks like...
Andrew Tate looks like Pob. Do you remember Pob?
Oh, I thought they did the same thing. Sorry.
No, Pob's something different.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he does look very round, his moon face. So he managed...
I used to like that one. I've got 33 cars. That meme just used to always crack me up for some reason.
What, all on finance?
Probably, yeah.
He managed the Mecca Locarno Ballroom in Leeds in the late 50s and early 60s, as well as the Mecca-owned Palais Dance Hall in Ilford, Essex, between 65 and... Between 1955 and...
56.
Yeah, his Monday evening records-only dance session, admission of £1 shilling, were popular with local teens. There's a citation there from Mark Weatherup in 2011. So Jimmy Saville's tenure as Ilford dancehall manager remembered.
Yeah,
it was while at Ilford.
Why was it such a short period?
Well, it was while at Ilford that Saville was discovered by a music executive from Decca Records. Saville's radio career.
How did was he headhunted by the Mecca
Records
Hall in Ilford?
I think he was just working for them. Saville's radio career began as a DJ at radio.
Or is he just like one of those priests, where they just keep moving them around after the allegations?
Oh, the funny thing is, I heard one of the reasons he was such a proponent of using the trains is if they were looking for somebody that had done some noncing, they'd close the roads and they'd be the police would be interviewing all the people leaving the blockade just to see if they matched the description of the suspect.
Yeah.
They don't do that on trains though. Trains just go through blockades.
So train nonsense. People who go trains.
The getaway vehicle of nonsense are trains.
I'm also sort of reminded of Have you ever seen the Louis Theroux documentary with Jimmy Savile, where talks about he only has two pairs of underwear? The one he wears.
My favourite bit is where Louis Theroux, because I knew all about Jimmy Savile, but I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, go fuck yourself, Louis. The bit which sort of struck me as like, oh, that seems odd. He's like hand washing one set.
Isn't Louis Theroux a bit old to be a fucking hatchling still? He still does the hack. What? You know, like when he was talking to Nick. What's his name? The Mexican child leader of the child savior of the white race. When it's just like, what? But you did it. You put your hand up in the air. What?
The thing that really annoys me about that was like he's been quite confrontational with some of the people in that episode. But the next episode is about drill rappers talking about like bragging about how many people they've murdered, and then making about I've murdered these many people. This is the gun I used to murder him. I committed the murder at this street at this time. And then they go to court over what they've sung about, and then saying, "Well, you've admitted to it in your songs." And then, and then Louis Theroux. Louis Theroux's been quite chummy with these, and it's like, well, hang on, you're being chummy with actual like scholarly joggers that are real murderers, and yet when you're talking with someone like Bait Alaska, like, oh, you've said some really mean things. Why don't you feel bad about those mean things you've said?
Beardson, you put your hand up in a controversial manner.
That's it. Yeah, and it's like
going on. It's like Beardson's like, can we talk about something else now? Like, I'm bored. Like, yeah, I didn't mean that. That's not what I meant. You've got it wrong. Yes, but no, you definitely did it in the way that I want you to have did it. Like, no, I didn't do that. We're moving on now. And then he was like, no, we have to talk about the hand for an hour.
So I like when what I'm gathering from this is very differential to murderers and Jimmy Savile, but comes down really hard on people, gay icon Nick Fuentes and Beardson. So, I mean, why isn't Nick Fuentes being celebrated in Pink News right now?
Yeah.
In fact, let me just do a quick search because this is related to Jimmy Savile.
Obviously, because he's still in the closet. That's why, Hobbit.
Because well, let me just say Pink News. No, Pink
I'm pretty
News.
Sure outing people is bad, Hobbit. You shouldn't be outing
Nick Fuentes.
Unless you've got a party ready to go, Hobbit, you shouldn't be outing these people, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, there is actually a Pink News article about Nicholas J. Fuentes.
Is there?
Him being gay.
Gay icon Nicholas J. Fuentes.
Yeah.
It doesn't link to the article. It just takes me to the Pink News opinion column.
They've knocked it out.
Oh, right. Okay. So he's not gay anymore. Breaking news, everybody. Nicholas Fuentes, not gay, not covered in Pink News.
It's eventually. I know. Frithwolf said, "Is that a joke? Is that a duck in Jimmy Savile's right jacket pocket?" It does look like one.
It is a duck, isn't it? It's like, now then, I knew you was going to ask about a duck.
So, can we add that to the list of things he's like, touched the bum all of?
Is that like secret? Is that secret Masonic coded language? Like he couldn't give a duck about Tony Blair.
I think what it is to say is like the duck is his spirit animal because ducks are well known.
Got a tight arse.
I'm trying to think about what the YouTube appropriate term for habitual rapist is because you're not allowed to say habitual rapist.
Alligators are like a water off a duck's back. Is that what you're saying? Yeah,
that's it. You see, with ducks, they've evolved to have false vaginas because of such forcible insemination by drakes, the male ducks, to the point where the male drakes, they will have prehensile penises so that they can forcibly impregnate the female ducks even if they don't want it. And I think
Yes,
Jimmy
aren't those
knew
young
about
female
that.
ducks just prostitutes, as Keir Starmer would have said when he was CPS?
I'm really not looking forward to
I'm only saying, like, he would have come across future Prime Minister Keir Starmer's desk, and he would have gone, well, that girl was obviously asking for it.
Who's going to be worse as a politician, him or who's that Mayor of London, Mohammed something or other? You know, the brown bloke.
Why is it like since God bless her, Maggie Thatcher died, I've gone every Prime Minister they can't possibly be worse, yet they are. How is it possible?
God,
was John Major worse than Thatcher? I seem to think he was pretty neutral and bland.
He was the first Prime Minister I remember as a kid.
What I remember about John.
See, the thing is, do you remember when? Do you remember when the spitting image could bring down prime ministers? There was that whole thing where he was like the grey man, wasn't he? Because he was like an empty suit, wasn't he? But compared to Keir Starmer, he's like a gregarious character, isn't he?
Well, at
we
least
get John
he
Major
was.
back. Is he not dead yet? Can we have him back?
I think he's still
around.
around.
You not heard some of the shit he said? He's a gold-plated idiot.
I think he's just quite happy living off the money he gets on dividends from BAE Aerospace and.
I thought
he's
got dividends from reruns of Spitting Image.
Well, he gets a lot of money from his stock portfolio. He does well for himself, put it that way.
Well,
he's got his Prime Minister allowance.
He's just a lucky guy like Nancy Pelosi. She's very shrewd with her investments, isn't she?
I really wish I could, because unfortunately there's like a 40-day delay. Even so, even if you follow Nancy Pelosi's stock options, 45 days lag, you still will do better than the market average. Yeah. But if you actually had her knowledge and was able to make the same trades the same time as she did, you'd be making a lot of money. She is like one shrewd businesswoman. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there was something. Oh, that was it. John Major. The first time I ever saw a guide about Photoshop and how to make subject appear in grayscale whilst the background is still in colour was about John Major, and this was
Jimmy Savile, Frank Bruno, and the Ripper. Hold on, I gotta find a picture.
Yeah, those were all spitting image characters, though.
No, apparently there's a picture of them all together at Broadmoor.
Oh yeah, Frank Bruno was buddy with him, wasn't he? Yeah.
Do you remember when Frank Bruno lost the plot and thought he was Frankie Dettori?
No, I never really followed him that much. So. Radio Luxembourg, that's what we were talking about. Yeah. He was on that from 58 to 68. One of those
shows where we just keep...
Oh, I don't mind. I think the audience likes it.
I think
by 1960...
everyone knows the Jimmy Savile story. We just need to really... Jimmy Savile looks really put out that Sutcliffe and... I've got to say, Sutcliffe's nice pair of breasts.
Looks like he's wearing a is that a swimsuit?
It's a shell suit, isn't it? It's one of those cheap ones off the market as well. Did they let him go down the market? Get his own?
That's Jimmy Savile where he's not got the Myra Hindley haircut. That's something else I wanted to mention.
He looks fucking cheesed off there, doesn't he? He's like, oh, fucking hell. These two are going to be best mates. I'm going to be put out on a...
Let's see if I can find Myra Hindley, Jimmy Savile. Let's see if I can find that. Let's see if I can find images. Oh my god, the first image, when I type that in, it links to the Wikipedia article, but the image that they show is him with the Myra Hindley hair. Let's see if I can find... here we go. Yeah, here's an example of what so if I copy the image, I'll post it into the Fortean... I'll post it into the Fortean Words chat, so people can see what I'm on about. And it's a picture of Myra Hindley on the left and Jimmy Savile on the right with the same hairdo and same sort of expression as well.
Is it in Misc chat or the general chat?
I've put that in the Fortean Words chat in Fortean Words, which if you want to contribute, send comments or just talk about anything Fortean, is t.me/Fortean Words. That's t.me/Fortean. Fortean is in Charles Fort, so Fortean Words. Yeah, we're in Gilded as well, yeah. And what's this thing here? Jimmy Savile and Myra Hindley tarot reading. What? It's 23 minutes long, so I'm not going to watch all of that. But I'll tell you what, I'll put it in there and see. My son might watch it and give me a summary of it. What, Jimmy Savile? Myra Hindley.
I never realised how weird looking he was until he was dead, to be honest. Is that because his magic was all over me?
Well, like, Magic Mustache Man. That's the thing, we in England, we can sympathise with the Germans because we had our own Magic Mustache Man, but instead of having a moustache, you have Myra Hindley hairdo and a cigar. I would say now then, how's about that then? I mean, it's a good thing he wasn't into politics because if we'd all be goose stepping behind him as he's doing a charity run.
So, do you want me to talk about how Jimmy Savile ran basically Broadmoor? I
was going to do more about his radio career.
Go on then, let's finish off who he is first.
So, by 1968, he presented 6 programs a week, and his Saturday show reached 6 million listeners.
Oh, no. That bloody number. It's everywhere.
And there's a citation next to it. Michael Parkinson, 40 January 1968, Honest Jim, The Sunday Times Magazine, London.
Is that number?
Still never going to get over that. I'm still never going to get over that Valerian fucking 6 million drop. I'm still never getting over that. That just triggered me now.
Oh, Valerian, the Jean. Oh, you reminded me. I want to watch Jean-Luc Besson's films, or at the very least, Leon.
Yes, it's Sea of 1,000 Planets or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you not remember it? It's that. It's out of nowhere. It's like, they were killed. There were 6 million died. Like
6 million of them slaughtered.
I think Frith's talking about the Ripper.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Anytime that number comes up, it isn't reminiscence of a certain historical event. I just get triggered at that film reference.
Oh, there was something else I was going. Do we have time? Can we have half an hour at the end because I want something 40 and that's closer to home and a bit more light-hearted.
Well, I can do.
Yeah. I'll see if I can.
We can always do some more Jimmy next week if we're not finished with Jimmy.
I mean, we can't get.
Well, much
like the British public, we can't get enough of Jimmy Savile on this show.
Exactly, we are insatiable for Jimmy Savile.
Just remember, if you are a member of the British public,
you don't condone any of
Jimmy Savile because the BBC just couldn't get rid of him because he was so popular.
That's right, and the BBC says it, and as we know, the BBC never lied to us about anything.
The BBC have never done a lie, nor ever covered up sexual abuse claims. Never.
And they don't have a statue of a bloke being sucked off by a little boy in front of the BBC studio house.
Yeah, and the bloke
that's an interesting.
Wasn't actually a convicted paedophile, was he?
Yeah, it's an interesting statue. It's definitely not a boy sucking off.
Do you remember that bloke went up there and tried to chisel it off?
Yeah, and he got done for criminal damage.
Yeah. I thought it was our BBC anyway.
Wow. It's got a royal charter, so it's the King's BBC.
Oh, okay then. The King was also big mates with Jimmy Savile, weren't he?
Yes. Well, that's the thing. Jimmy Savile said, "Me and the royal family go back a million years."
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
Did his mum say, "Jimmy, I've told you 1 billion times, stop exaggerating"?
family go back 1,000,000 years. Let's see if I can find the quote in context. Not sure. It might have been Thomas Sheridan or David Icke that did a thing about it. But I definitely remember there was this quote.
The BBC.
I definitely remember the quote, and it was probably
David Icke used to be the sportsman on BBC Breakfast, didn't he, with Frank Boff?
Until he had his Saul on the Road to Tarsus moment.
Or mental breakdown, as the case may have been.
Well, one's mental breakdown is another man's religious epiphany. So there's something in the Daily Express about how he did royal thing. Oh, that's an interesting side-by-side comparison. I'll just put that in the 40. On the one hand, it's Jimmy Savile with his demonic red glasses and his wand in between his teeth.
Yeah.
On the other side, it's some man who has an inability to sweat and has gone to Pizza Express in High Wycombe. I don't know what
you're talking about. He was in a Pizza Express in Woking when Jimmy Savile was doing stuff.
I thought it was High Wycombe. Yeah, sorry.
I think it was Woking.
I stand corrected.
I'm pretty sure it was Woking. It was like some weird, like non-entity place. Right?
I'm not going to read this article because, as Jimmy Savile said, this isn't my word. Readings for faggots. And I'm not talking about the ones I had for my tea. But there's a picture of Jimmy Savile, and underneath it, the remains of the Lockerbie bombing. So, don't know what the Daily Express is trying to make with that sort of thing, but there it is.
Bombed Lockerbie?
Well, it's like, it's got Jimmy Savile on one hand. On the right, a man who is unable to sweat and has gone to Pizza Express with his family. And underneath it, the remains of the scene of the tragedy in 1988, the Lockerbie bombing.
I don't know. I'd do a lot of sweating if I had his weird-looking daughter, wouldn't you?
Well, unfortunately, due to a bizarre illness, he's unable to sweat, whoever this man is. Yeah.
I don't think we can mention his name. Was that pertinent to the allegations against him? I don't know.
I seem to remember him being quite adamant about not sweating, and interview.
That's a weird hill to die on, whether you can sweat or not, isn't it?
Well, you see, if you can't sweat, you could die of hypothermia, so that is a hill to die on.
If he can't sweat, you must have quit.
That's it, yeah. So
I'm pretty sure that I'm paraphrasing, but it's pretty much that's how it was.
You know what? I mean, the thing is, as Jimmy Savile would say, always leave them wanting more now than. Instead of talking about Jimmy Savile, can I just do this article about...
Jimmy Savile came to my bar mitzvah from the you see. Go on then, Hobbit. You're sensitive to the needs of the Jewish community. Do you want to read that out from the Jewish Chronicle?
Jimmy Savile came to... Right, so... kosher enthusiast Jimmy Savile claimed to have invented the disco, but Sir Jimmy Savile, the DJ and presenter who died last weekend, also claimed to have done his hit bit towards peace in the Middle East. Sir Jimmy always said he had berated the Israeli cabinet in 1975 for being too soft after the Six-Day War. The bling-loving, Leeds-born presenter of Jim'll Fix It and Top of the Pops, who once described himself as the most Jewish Catholic you will ever meet. Now then, how's about that then? Well, I don't know. Have you met Joseph Robinette Biden with his own personal rabbi? Is your personal rabbi Sir Jimmy Savile? KCJSG. Was a strong supporter of Israel and through fun runs. Now, here's the thing, right? It's been. Again, I'm speaking from a point of Catholic bigotry here, but it has been brought to me that Jesus died for our sins, and the people that killed Jesus have names and addresses.
Actually, Hobbit, technically they didn't kill Jesus.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Those that killed him had names and addresses. And the ones that were asking for Jesus to be brutally executed decided that they had a chance to pardon so on, and they said, "Yeah, we're going to pardon Barabbas, a rapist."
They said, "Fui Wadger."
Yeah, a rapist arsonist.
He's a rapist.
Yeah, but Barabbas, the rapist arsonist.
Simon the Thaddeus Thief Strangler.
That's it. So they pardoned him.
Slip in a Life of Brian reference when talking about Jesus. It's
no, the thing is, being brought up, there's been a certain insult amongst the Catholic lexicon of Christ killer, and you don't want to be called a Christ killer, and you don't want to be associated with Christ killer.
We do not co-sign that kind of language on this show.
No, well, I'm speaking as a Catholic, you see. So the fact that Jimmy Savile calls himself the most Jewish Catholic you'll ever meet, now then, how's about that then? Just feels a bit like... I think it's one of those oxymorons, like military intelligence. Yeah. Well, again, someone told me that everyone in the royal family's been circumcised, including the women, and that they've got their own private rabbi. And I'm just thinking, if Jimmy Savile and the royal family go back and
teacher, Hobbit. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This sounds like this is going down a very dark anti-Semitic canard road.
Well, if Sir Jimmy Savile, OBE-KSGC HQ, said that him and the royal family go back a million years,
yeah,
and he's the most Jewish Catholic you'll ever meet, I'm thinking their form of Jewish Catholicism is very different.
Catholic you'll ever meet.
Well, he wasn't, was he? So he's probably the least Catholic you'll ever meet. Anyway, he was a strong supporter.
In some ways, he was a bit like a Catholic priest.
Are you saying shape-shifting reptilians are circumcised? Is that what we're getting at here?
I'm saying their souls are circumcised. There was strong support. He was a strong supporter of Israel.
During the transition, that's why she had to be buried in such a big casket.
Oh,
that's
shit,
right.
Yeah.
The holographic field stopped working.
Yeah.
And through fun runs, marathons, and personal appearances, he raised funds for many charities, including Wizzo, Ravenswood,
he did a lot of good work for charity, mate, but he didn't want to talk about it.
And the British
Hobbit. You know what? Everybody knows you keep growing when you die, right? So that's why the coffin was so big.
Yeah. Yes.
You just keep growing.
You grow from a little old lady into a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Well, have you never seen the Mario Brothers movie? You've never seen the Mario Brothers movie, have you?
I have. I saw it recently, and you know what?
I actually finally watched it like last year, I think. I'd never watched it.
It's a good film. I like the Mario Brothers movie. I know that Nintendo was so horrified.
The Mario Brothers trying to tell us something, were they?
Yeah.
So he also raised money for the British Friends of the
Lady Hospital
in Netiah. His 10-day visit to Israel.
How many Radio 1 DJs were pissed off about that sketch?
I'm so glad they were. Fuck the lot of them. Harry Enfield's got your number. He's got your fucking number.
But I do like to talk about it, mate.
All right, let's rock. With the sounds of Sir Cliff Richard. What a swell guy. Yeah.
Are we going to wait? Are we going to be hearing the snap, crackle, and pop of Good Morning Breakfast? No, it's more like
the sweet sounds of
Horlicks on Radio Quad.
Yes. Do you know the funny thing is, it's like the second largest market for. In fact, it's the largest now. Largest market for Horlicks in the world is India, and over there, it's promoted as a breakfast drink.
It's a fucking sleepy time drink.
Well, over in India, they promote
it
as
a bromide in it to kind of calm the rapey rape down a bit.
I don't know what they put in it, but they're convinced that it's a good drink to have for breakfast. You put it in your milk, hot milk, with seasoned with a bit of cow shit.
Do they not know the properties of hot milky drinks?
I think in India, with it being like 50 degrees in Delhi right now, all milk is hot milk. So
no.
No.
How much
Like,
milk do you want in your Horlicks? 1 lump or 2?
It's like when they squeeze out the teat, it comes out as cottage cheese. It's just been. So anyway, it's 10-day visit to Israel, 1975.
I reckon the aliens from Alien Nation would just be pissed all of the time in India.
It's 10-day visit to Israel, 1975.
You've seen Alien. You get the joke. Either you two get the joke there. Have you seen Alien Nation?
Oh, is it where they drink gone off milk?
They get drunk on gone off milk. Yeah.
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 Oh, I really need to watch that film again. That's a decent film, that is.
Where he met President and Jerusalem Mayor Teddy Kollek.
You seem to have something in you.
I was trying to authentically pronounce the Israeli name of President Jerusalem Mayor Teddy Kollek.
Speaking of pronunciation, I've got to make this point. Yeah, you know, like sports ball presenters, they really twist themselves in knots trying to pronounce
not Beijing.
Correctly. Yeah. They twist themselves in knots trying to pronounce stuff correctly. Like, you never hear French broadcasters saying, like, David Beckham, do you? So, like, why the fuck should we be doing it for other people?
It's or some just sort
like
of like
some British person autistically going, no, you've got to pronounce it David Beckham.
It's just
it's a point.
It's shit, isn't it? It's shit. It's fucking shit.
No, because like when they're like, no, you must pronounce it like these. But like nobody ever does it the other way. They go, no, it's got to be Terry.
Damn it, we're just too fucking tolerant, aren't we?
Well, it's bending over backwards to appease people that hate your guts. So I'll just say fuck a lot of them. So anyway, he visited Teddy Kollek, who was organised by John Levy of the Friends of Israel Educational Trust.
Oh, Friends of Israel.
The trip was filmed for BBC's Jim Will Fix It. After 9-year-old Gary...
Jim, can you fix it for me to kiss the Wailing Wall?
Well, the trip was filmed for the BBC's Jim Will Fix...
can you build a third temple? Can you fix...
Jim, can you fix it for me to take the red heifer over to Israel?
Jim, can you fix it for me to have like an unblemished red heifer so we can sacrifice for the third temple? Well, I'll see what I can do for you then, young Gary Merry from Liverpool. So, Gary Merry from Liverpool asked to see the land where Jesus was born. Now, this may be the subject of a future Fortean words, but spoilers... Jesus was born, raised, and lived in what we now call England.
Controversial.
Israel is the British Isles. Yeah. We are Jerusalem.
Green and pleasant land.
That imposter over in the Middle East, they call themselves Jerusalem, but they're not. That's not Jerusalem. The real Jerusalem was razed to the ground by King Herod. So much of our history has been usurped and corrupted by what we call the Romans, but frankly, after that thing that Fraser showed me with the buildings where the dopey Italian stonemasons forgot to add the M to their date, I'm starting to have
in the J's, right?
They'd forget their heads if it weren't screwed on.
Oh, those lazy Italians always missing out important letters in dates.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jimmy Saville...
Probably just trying to knock off
I mean, what he could have done is just taken Gary Merry from Liverpool, trip to St. Julian's in Cornwall, and said, right, this is where Jesus was.
Yeah.
So, Sir Jimmy recorded the advice to the Israelis. Now then, I arrived at this reception now. Then the president came to me and asked, now then, how was I? I said, I was very disappointed, I was. I hadn't buggered any of the children yet. The Israelis had won the 6-day war, but they had given back all the land, including the only oil well in the region, and they were now paying the Egyptians more for oil than if they bought it from Saudi Arabia. Now then, I'm going to fuck some Palestinian boys, I am then. I said, you have forgotten to be Jewish, he said. You would like to tell my cabinet that. Next morning, I went to the Knesset, Bagum. They interrupted a cabinet meeting, and I told them the same as I told I just fucked this Palestinian in the ass, and then I sacrificed him to Baphomet, a famous Catholic deity, according to Jimmy Savile. Mr. Levy recalled, he was a gorgeous, impish, creative character.
Impish? Impish?
Gorgeous and
that is a weird turn of phrase, impish.
I find it interesting that it was used both for the terms gorgeous and impish to describe him. I mean, I'd say I think, you know that phrase, beauty is in the eye of the beholder? What we would see as a pile of shit, they see as a bunch of roses.
They see as impish.
Well, gorgeous and impish. They really
imp
see
is a European mythological being, similar to a fairy or demon, frequently described in folklore and superstition. The word may perhaps derive from the term yimp, Y-M-P-E, used to denote a young grafted tree.
Not
Imps
sure about
are often
that.
described as troublesome and mischievous, more than seriously threatening or dangerous. Bless me.
Bless you.
And as lesser beings rather than more important supernatural beings. The attendants of the devil are sometimes described as imps. They are usually described as lively and having small stature.
Of course, he was an egomaniac, but he was incredibly generous. He wanted to film us walking from Jerusalem to Bethlehem. So there are these scenes trudging the Judean hills. He had many close Jewish friends. He had many close Jewish friends. He was a real Philo-Semite. Was Jeffrey Epstein friends with him? When we returned, I asked him. Well, he's got many close Jewish friends.
Well, you could. I think more likely he probably knew Ghislaine Maxwell, didn't he?
And Robert Maxwell.
More likely because she was a British socialite, wasn't she?
Yeah, and he would have known Robert Maxwell as well, being that he was an avid DJ, and Robert Maxwell had his own hi-fi. Just so he could do a little VAT tax dodge, because he didn't like the other hi-fi shops in Oxford at the time.
Well, obviously that's cheaper than starting up a hi-fi shop.
Yeah, starting up your own business back in the basement just to do hi-fi so you can say it yourself. Woe betide you go to the other one on the George Street. When we returned, I asked him to be a friend of the trust, and he insisted that I listed him as special friend. During his visit, Sir Jimmy spent time camping near...
Jimmy Savile was the youngest of 7 children, so he was the 7th.
Yeah, I said that bit at the beginning, and I said the names of them.
Seventh son of a seventh son. Is that the Iron Maiden song?
I don't know if he was a 7th son of a 7th son, but a 7th son is still...
During his visit, Sir camping near the Sea of Galilee and at a kibbutz Lavi, where he recorded a discussion program for his Radio 1 show, Speak Easy. Famous for his Clunk Click road safety campaign.
Have you ever seen that one? Have you ever seen that one where he goes on that program and, like, because the kids obviously weren't like proper TV viewers, they weren't desperate to appease him, and they came on, they just fucking destroyed him, didn't they? You see that one?
No, I haven't. Sir Jimmy loved nearly everything in Israel, with one major exception: the driving. After his trip and a meeting with the then Transport Minister Moshe Dayan, where he returned to London, he presented Israeli Ambassador Gideon Raphael with 2 road safety films, which he hoped would be shown on Israeli TV. Now then, whilst you're bombing Palestinians with white phosphorus, remember, clunk click every trip. Mancunians Pearl Gruber and her late husband Harold were close friends of Sir Jimmy, and invited him to their daughter Sharon's bar mitzvah in 1968.
Is that mother and father of now deceased? What was his name? Gruber.
Sharon Gruber.
Hans Gruber.
No, that's a different Gruber.
Die Hard Hobbit. Die Hard.
Yes, Alan Rickman was one of those. I am Alan Rickman, and I have starred in this Die Hard film.
Die Hard.
Mrs. Gruber.
I think he'd say film. I don't think he'd say film.
Oh God! Don't say film, Jesus.
I'll tell you something.
That's Scotland triggers me when they say film. It's like no.
Oh, the other thing is, this is like, is it a speech impediment, Glaswegian? I was listening to like one.
No, it's all of Scotland. They say film. It's.
Yeah, but that's an Irish thing as well. There's this thing in the Glaswegian specifically. Instead of saying thing, that's too much to pronounce. They just go the hing. What? Yeah, I nor pronounce the th in thing, so it's hing. I've heard Glaswegian say hing to describe thing. Anyway, Mrs. Gruber said, "He was wonderful. He broadcast his radio show, Saville's travels from the Bar Mitzvah party at Yeshurun Hebrew congregation in Cheadle. One of the boys at the party really wanted to be a donkey and nearly drove him mad. His name was Sacha Baron Cohen." Sharon Gruber, who now lives at Mill Hill, recalled, "He came to my bar mitzvah in a silver suit, and people were whispering, 'Who does that man think he is? Jimmy Savile?' He didn't realise it's really him." One of his 8 homes was a small flat at the heart of Leeds Jewish community in Roundhay. Isn't that funny? He would spend time with... I shouldn't make aspersions about the Jewish community. He spent much of his time socialising at the Fly restaurant.
You're coming up with there, Hobbit.
Yeah. I just say I'm not going to make any aspersions. It's all allegations, spurious allegations. A popular local horn on Street Lane is called Flying Pizza. He was a regular at fundraising dinners at synagogues in Leeds and Manchester, particularly for the British Friends of Lineado, donating large sums to the organisation. He told the BBYO group in Leeds, I don't know who BBYO is, "I knew nothing about the Jewish community growing up, but visiting Israel has made him realise that God owes the Jewish community a great debt." Now then, how's about that then? Manchester Lineado chair Dov Hamburger, his name, D-O-V, and then Hamburger, recalled Sir Jimmy's appearance at the charity's annual dinner. While he did for nothing, Mr. Hamburger said, "I could not recall a keynote speaker who has behaved so generously before. I would gladly pay for a hamburger today or Tuesday."
Very similar to Laura Hesketh, Hobbit.
"Mr. Hamburger likes to eat a lot of hamburgers. Now then, how's about that then?"
Is he related to Laura Hesketh? He sounds very much like Laura Hesketh, Hobbit.
Laura Hesketh and Mr. Hamburger both had a thing about making spurious complaints about food and hope to get more of it. Former Norwood chief executive, "Oh, you handed me these chips and they were cold. Demand chips." Former Norwood chief executive Norma Breyer recalled Jimmy Savile's visit to Ravenswood Village in 1989. "He came to open the Ravenswoods Fair and was a great hit. Turning up in his gold Rolls Royce, he walked around chatting to the residents and spent lots of time there. We were very, very grateful for his support."
Can I just say about that gold Rolls Royce? I feel so sorry for the bloke who won it in an auction the day before Jimmy Savile became the most hated man in England.
It's like you know.
Is it like the monkey's paw? Do you think he wished? Do you think he wished on the monkey's paw for Jimmy Savile's gold Rolls Royce?
Yeah, I think it is. It's a real cursed item. Like, what can you do with that? It's awful. Oh, Luther Bergsvik commented on one of my videos. I haven't seen that name in a while. Hello, Luther Bergsvik. I'm not sure if you're watching this, but yeah, cool. So that's about as much as I want to do about Jimmy Savile. Now that we were speaking about, we made a thing. This would have been an excellent segue if I just
did. Off Hobbit. There's loads more to do. Did you want to do another one?
Yep.
So we're doing another part.
Well, in conclusion, we'll do another part next week. Jimmy Savile nonced loads of people, children especially,
allegedly.
And well, it wasn't allegedly. It was like actual for real, not allegations anymore.
For reals. Well,
yeah.
None of it's been proven in a court of law. God damn it! They were just a couple of decades too late.
And
all these brave people coming forward after his death. The brave people.
He liked to collect
all the brave. Yeah, but Hobbit, you're not.
Oh yeah,
all
like
those
brave
BBC presenters that told you they knew all
like
about it.
Esther Ranson.
Yeah.
Esther. Oh, I knew what was going on, but I decided not to talk about it because the British public that are bigot, racist, gammon Brexit voters would have had my hide for starters. They would have had a hide, basically.
Do you think he went to Esther Ranson's bar mitzvah?
Oh, I don't know. Probably. He's the most Jewish Catholic you'll ever meet, which is very strange. It'd be like saying Jesus is the most Muslim Buddhist you'll ever meet. Just something about that statement seems a bit off, if you ask me. I'm not quite sure to how to put my finger on it because it might be an anti-Semitic canard to say Jewish Catholic. In conclusion, nonced loads of children and had a habit of collecting glass eyes from cadavers, which he would then mount into rings. Because he liked having rings made from glass eyes. And that's not alleged, that's what he actually did.
Would bring a tears of glass eye, that.
And allegedly would interfere with corpses sexually as well. He was an equal opportunities pervert, was Jimmy Saville. But wasn't just interested in the very young. He was also... No, and he wasn't Jewophobic, unlike some evil bigots these days. So you like about him, a special friend of the Jews, he is. Yeah. So, speaking of Jews and Robert Maxwell and Oxford, that segues perfectly into my next article here. This is a very Fortean subject. Have you ever heard of a singer called Brocardi? She's from Oxford. No. There's Brocardi. Have I got a place I can put this in? If I just put it in general, will you see it there?
Yeah,
if I paste that there. So I'll read this article. So Brocardi, a songwriter and performer from Oxfordshire, said this... right, I'll have to read the headline. Singer divorces devilishly handsome ghost of Victorian soldier after less than a year.
I think we covered this, but not in depth. I think it was on Unexplained Mysteries. I think we've covered it, but we haven't covered it in depth. This looks like quite a long article.
Well, believe it or not, she's been in the news recently because of clown. So, bro. Are
you chumming the water? Are you just to keep people interested in this? Then.
Well, what I'm saying is this article is from last year. So, update: Brocardi, a songwriter from. I have to just look away at her eyes.
Yeah, I've got no idea how to pronounce that properly.
I'm just going to put my hand there because I can't get rid of the image. Brocardi, a songwriter and performer from, said, she married this Victorian spirit of a soldier. Who she says the name was Eduardo, which is a very Victorian name for a Victorian soldier. Yeah. Brocardi, a songwriter and performer from.
I mean, I can imagine he would have done well in the Victorian army with a name like Eduardo. So she divorced the spirit, right? It said the spirit became increasingly possessive after the wedding, and which had been warm and intense and threatening. Well, so basically, they got married, and he thought that she shouldn't be going around shagging other spirits anymore. So he's an evil misogynist, Brexit gammon, is he?
With the name of Eduardo, which I definitely take Brocardi's word for it that his name is Eduardo, and she's not just making this all up for clout and not fame.
It's singer who married definitely absolutely not mental instability.
It's not mental illness. Yeah. Goes only by the name Brocardi. Said she first met devilishly handsome Eduardo. Eduardo, when he burst into her bedroom on dark and stormy night.
Ooh,
the 40-year-old from Oxfordshire.
Definitely not got the baby rabies.
I don't think No, I did not go to school with her. No. Said long-haired Eduardo immediately love for her. Later began confiding in her. this spirited love affair hit the headlines when
that's
Brocardia
a Photoshop picture, isn't it?
So when Brocardia, the spirited love affair hit the headlines when Brocardia announced they were to marry in the Halloween in 2022. Brocardi posted a video of the ceremony on Instagram. She was seen wearing all black with an empty space where invisible
It wasn't fucking empty. Eduardo was standing there, you fucking bigot hobbit.
Was said to have been... No, I'm not... This isn't my opinion. This is the Sky News.
My God, are you denying that woman's true love for Eduardo, the soulmate?
Why is a black man standing at the altar? Is that just complete with the all-black theme? Brocardo posted a video of the ceremony. Posted a video of the ceremony on Instagram where she was seen wearing all black with an empty space where Eduardo.
It wasn't fucking empty. Jesus fucking Christ, these bigots.
Again, it's the way they're very insensitive. Sky News to write it this way. However, shortly after they married,
trying to imply that she's mental or something.
Brocardo said she was angry that her husband got too drunk on their honeymoon in Barry Island in Wales.
Barry Island, what a place to go.
Well, in her words, he was quite spirited on their honeymoon. Brocardo added that Eduardo would become increasingly possessive. He's possessed! And would switch between being warm and intense and threatening, Wales Online reports. She said...
Has she not thought that maybe she married a demon, not a ghost?
Has anybody ever thought that...
in the sheets, was he?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm starting to think that... A ghost in
the streets and a demon in the sheets.
I wish Ian was here, because then we could get his opinion of Brocardo. She said, after our initial meeting, Eduardo slowly revealed more about himself to me. Do you like my authentic Oxfordshire accent there? I saw his images as a Victorian soldier. He was always in his uniform, even on our wedding day, even in the bath. His face is devilishly handsome. Shoulder-length, unruly hair. Well, that's not part of a fucking Victorian uniform, is it? Shoulder-length, unruly hair.
What?
Long hair. He's a long-haired hippie in a Victorian soldier's uniform.
Yeah, well, this is all like. Does she not?
He looks.
Does she know? Has she ever looked up anachronistic in the dictionary?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think she's heavily researched the subject. I don't think even she did more than. I think it was more episode. Darkies dressed up in the Victorian redcoat uniform on the BBC's Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Remember, BBC, the proponents of Jimmy Savile, OBE.
It wasn't the BBC. The BBC desperately wanted to sack Jimmy Savile. It was the British public's complete love for Jimmy Savile that stopped them from doing it.
I'm sure glad the BBC educated us on the fact that they couldn't get rid of him even if they wanted to.
Well, they said, no, this bloke's sexually assaulted many, many people. We want rid of him. But the British public kept saying over and over again, no, we don't care. We want Jimmy
The British
Savile
public, who, dare I remind you, voted for Brexit because they're evil bigot gammons.
Yeah.
Evil gammon Brexit bigots. The British public, they wanted Sir Jimmy Savile. We didn't. We want Tofu and the EU and Guardian. I saw his images of Victorian soldier. He was always in his uniform, even on our wedding day. His face is devilishly handsome, shoulder-length unruly hair. He looks lived in, well-worn, troubled almost. There's a pain attached to his being.
That's because he fucking died.
The songwriter, poet, and performer. Would you believe it?
I don't think you're a Victorian soldier and you get to die quietly in your sleep, do you?
Would you believe that Brocardo is a songwriter, poet, and performer? Also said she tired of Eduardo's unsettling fascination with Marilyn Monroe.
Constant demands for sex.
I mean, Marilyn Monroe was like a big deal back in the Victorian era.
Yeah.
Brocardo claims the soldier's crush on the late iconic Hollywood actress began on their wedding day when he spotted the spirit of Monroe in the chapel. Oh, yeah. Marilyn Monroe frequently seen hanging out on Barry Island in Wales.
What the fuck?
She claims the soldier would
know that Barry Island was where she had her was where Marilyn Monroe too had her honeymoon when she married Joe DiMaggio.
Really?
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe came to Barry Island to have a wedding.
Yeah, when she married the. No, I'm kidding. I bet.
Okay. She claims the soldier would disappear for days before returning, smelling of Chanel No. 5, the fragrance which had been Monroe's favourite perfume. The singer claims setting boundaries. Yeah. The singer claims setting boundaries infuriated Eduardo. And he allegedly started to haunt her with the sound of it screaming.
Is she being highly fucking stereotypical about Latin lovers? Is she or what?
Yeah, famous Victorian soldier Latin lovers.
I think on the down low she might be a bit of a Brexit gammon. I think.
So allegedly started to haunt her with the sound of a screaming baby. Brocardo says she returned to the chapel married in order to exorcise him from her mind. She announced in the split in the song, "Just Another Anthem." I'm sure there's links to a website. I don't care about it. The reason is because Brocardo, I'm going to call her Brocardo from now on.
Brocardi B.
Brocardo.
Call her Brocardi B.
Brocardi B, Clown, Motel, Jealousy. Let's see if that brings it up. Oh yeah, here we go, theexpress.com. So I'll post this link here so you can read along as well, Fraser and Hemi. Mm-hmm. I'm going to read this article up because I'm enjoying this so much. Right. Woman who married ghost faces ex's jealousy after adopting a possessed clown.
Oh.
Right. So let's read a bit more about. God, she's aged a lot. I look better than that, and I'm old. So, a woman who says she married, then divorced a ghost, has adopted a possessed clown.
She's absolutely gagging for some dick, mate. You'd have no problems.
Yeah, but do I really want to go near a haunted vagina? What if Eduardo said, "Ooh, she's not as good a shag as Marilyn Monroe"? Ooh.
Yeah.
So she married. Then divorced a ghost.
What if she ends up wanting a threesome with you and Eduardo there?
Pass. Strong fucking pass.
Yeah.
And the clown's watching in the background like the Bart Simpson doll.
Oh.
Doesn't
look like the doll from Poltergeist.
I was just thinking of someone we know that has a Bart Simpson doll.
Oh, that Bart Simpson doll.
Multiplying circles. Yeah. But it said it made her ex jealous. Brocardo, 40, tied the knot with Victorian soldier Spook Eduardo, then split with him.
You can't say words like that in a fucking newspaper, you bigot.
This is the Daily Express, by the way, calling a soldier as. What are you saying? He's tall, dark, and handsome.
The Daily Express is a pro-Brexit gammon rag.
Gammon. Yeah. Victorian soldier Spook Eduardo then split with him when she accused him of cheating and stalking her. I saw it. It's just the idea that spook is supposed to be a bad word. It's like, ooh, spook. I'm scared.
Hold on, Hobbit. I'm getting a message from Eduardo. He said, no, you can't call me a spook. That's my word.
You have to use it with the soft K.
Okay.
The singer and songwriter has now adopted a possessed clown after connecting with him and spending a night at the Clown Motel in Nevada. I'm sorry, just
does this whole fucking story stem from like the Viz letters page?
It just this is what happens when you allow women to take a joke too far and don't put them in the loony bin or use the dunking stool. This is what happen. This is what happens when women don't wear the scold's bridle.
This is what happens, Larry. This is what happens when a ghost fucks you in the ass.
There's a related article here that says, I had sex with a ghost for 20 years, but dumped him after I saw his face. Oh, I would have shagged you if I knew you were ugly.
What did he do?
She toured the
time?
Put a paper bag over her head. No, that's ectoplasm. She toured the USA with the clown doll and has returned home to Oxfordshire with it to conduct a paranormal investigation on him.
Oh, no. I dread to think with that. Oh, no. It's all covered in ectoplasm now.
Oh, dear. There's a picture here. I'm going to post. There it is in the Gilded chat. I'll also post this in Fortean words so everyone else can have nightmares. But she says her ex, Eduardo, has become jealous. He does not want the clown in her house. Ghost magnet.
Are they sharing a house? Like, I thought they got divorced. He's got to fuck off, hasn't he?
Yeah, in exercise, but no, he's still mental bitch. Ghost magnet Brocado has encountered the possessed clown while touring the world, filming a series of haunted locations for a TV.
You would, wouldn't you, Hobbit?
Oh no, I wouldn't. Just.
Can you know how good the sex would be? Because like she's way off on the hot crazy scale.
Look, I've seen crazy eyes like that before, and I know with those to run, don't walk away.
You're just
She's given. Well, let's just say my ex had the same sort of eyes, and I've learnt that it means danger.
Danger. High voltage. She's doing Eduardo.
She's doing a TV show pilot where she goes around the world acting like a man. And she's wearing Doc Martens because of course she'd be wearing Doc Martens.
Why?
She says,
course. What are you trying to say, Hobbit, about people that wear Doc Martens?
Women in comfortable shoes. I'll leave it at that. She says Eduardo.
What? Oh, all right. Well, hold on a minute. All these ghosts have been male.
Yeah.
You can't cast aspersions like that. She's 100% heterosexual.
She's 100% something. Not sure what it is, but. Ghost magnet Brocado. Oh yeah, I've said that bit. She says Eduardo has so far been placid about her communicating with other spirits.
You go home to, hi honey, I'm home, and then the steak knife fucking slams into the wall just to the side of your head. It'd be fucking great. She'd be a great.
Hello, Eduardo, who I divorced and married in the space of a day. I'm back home.
Oh, you just grab the air and go, get the fuck out, Eduardo, and then that's what you do, and she'd go, oh, you saved me from Eduardo. And then there you go.
But you're assuming I want to be anywhere near this. I value the integrity of my genitalia. So she says Eduardo had so far been placid about communicating with other spirits.
Oh, come on, she's screaming out for some real cock. She's like, oh, I've tried ghost cock and it just ain't working out.
I wouldn't touch her with yours. And the couple rarely make contact these days.
Hobbit, you are getting on a bit. You can't be quite as choosy as you used to be.
Yeah. No spring chicken.
I don't need to stick it into a bear trap, though, do I?
She's a local lass.
Fuck off! His unrested soul seems to be rattled.
Her or a bear in the woods, which one would you choose?
I think I'll go with a bear. But at least still be quick. His unrested soul seems to be rattled at the... Yeah, but which is going to be more painful? That's at least with a bear. When it disembowels me, I've got minutes to live. I can at least present my neck to it so it understands and it swipes at that too. He says, Eduardo, oh yeah, the couple rarely make contact.
If we had her with you, the bear would go, fuck this, I'm off. Wouldn't it?
Hang on, was this like... No,
Active bear repellent.
something about this article feels a bit off. Now, the audience, you're going to have to forgive me for this, right? But she says Eduardo so far has been plastered about her communicating with other spirits, and the couple rarely make contact these days. Well, you can't say they're a couple if they're divorced.
Open relation. Is Eduardo a bit of a Nick Rakita? Is he?
Frith just pointed out that the Rumble stream is muted.
Why does everyone keep saying that? I listened to one the other day and it was fine.
Well, I'm listening to it now. Have I got it paused? Let's just see what if I go forwards in time? No. Let's go to where it's live. Can I make it go when it's live? I really don't know why.
There should be no reason at all that the Rumble stream is muted.
I'm listening to it now, and I don't hear anything. Let's go to where it's live. So this is going to make it go when it's live. I really don't know why.
There should be no reason. Yeah. D Live's fine. I just put D Live on. D Live is fine. There's no reason. I don't know if it should be muted. I'll have to look into that. But I looked at the replays the other day, and it was fine.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't get why Rumble's.
I don't get it. It's literally just one program is throwing this out to everywhere, YouTube and everything.
So if I click on one of the previous ones, like Summer of Love,
yeah,
do we have any audio on that? I will do this bit. The bit I wanted to say about this is, how are you calling the couple when they're divorced?
Could it be like frame settings or something like that? Could that throw the audio off?
I'm not sure, but I think it's a problem with Rumble itself because it won't load previous episodes for me. Like Graham Young, Teacup Poisoner. No, it's not loading. JDLE Science Theatre, Mrs. Columbo Frey. Is that loading? Oh, it's actually showing video from it, but no, it's not playing. For some reason, Rumble won't play. Anyway, we'll have to figure that out another time. So they call them a couple.
The old ones out, and
I'm using it on Brave, and for whatever reason on Brave it don't want to work. Eduardo, couple. They're not a couple, but the article calls them a couple. His unrested soul seems to be rattled at the thought of finding another ghost over the threshold. Oh, God. She says, I can instantly tell when Eduardo has a point to make.
The Summer of Love won't start, will it?
His energy is very powerful. His presence has been very manageable these days.
Graham Young is
and I only see him from
Hobbit.
Timed, none of these episodes are loading. He does not like the clown, though. He watches him, and I keep him finding the clown by the door. Subtlety is not Eduardo's strong point. He has nothing to be concerned about, as I have no intention of marrying a clown ghost. Though that would be funny. Ha 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 ha! The clown is here for research purposes only, and I definitely don't need to get into a paranormal love triangle. Hang on, you mental bit. You divorced Eduardo. What are you talking about love triangles and clown ghost spirits? I know the clown is possessed, so perhaps Eduardo has picked up on some bad energy and is just looking out for me. I'm divorced! Eduardo, move on! Leave this mental bent. I'm fascinated by the prospect of spirit vessels and haunted objects. It's a whole new world for me, so I'm trying to learn and absorb. I think her vagina's a spirit vessel. It's haunted by all of her children that got a... I was going to say it's been haunted by all the aborted babies. That's why I've enjoyed filming this series so much, as I'm meeting people who've had fascinating ghost adventures, not unlike myself. On a trip to the famous clown motel, Brocado instantly gravitated towards the clown and connected with it due to the cynical ploy to keep relevant in this day and age so that people will buy her shit fucking music. Oh, sorry, I misread that. Instantly gravitated towards the clown and connected with it due to a love theatre and performance. she says. She says the spirit trapped in the clown immediately revealed to Brocado that he was a Carnivale clown.
Reminds me of that ICP song.
Carnival clown?
Song. You ever heard that one? There's a witch trapped in this song.
Carnival clown.
There's a witch trapped in this song. She'll haunt you. She'll hurt you. She'll kill you if she wants you. Yeah, there you go. I think it's Dark Lights, actually, not ICP, but same thing.
So he's a carnival clown, and that he was a tortured soul who spent his days performing. Didn't care. Called him for not being funny.
What's his?
Ooh, get off the fucking stage!
What's his name then?
So what? Are you saying he's like Jimmy Carr?
Or doesn't pay taxes?
Well, carnival clowns aren't known for paying. They're also known.
He's spending a year dead for tax reasons. You get.
When I connected with spirits, it's often their emotions that I connect with first.
She is a proper slut for spirits, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Entity. In this case, this clown doll had once been owned by or come into contact with a man who worked as a clown, she said. This man was tortured by his dreams of stardom.
She said he worked as a clown. Is there any other way of being a clown?
It was condemned to life in the carnival. He was underappreciated. I suppose as an artist I can relate to this.
Oh,
really?
No, is she going to start doing the fucking Prince bit where she's going to write slave on her cheek or something?
So I feel that's why he chose me to convey this mishap.
Do you remember when Prince changed his name to Squiggle because he was deeply oppressed by his record label?
And then he changed his name to the artist for Cadfael because he read Brother Cadfael and thought it was a good story. Brocado. When I relax from my what's his name? He was in I Claudius as well.
Derek Jacobi.
He was Derek Jacobi. Yeah, he was great in Brother Cadfael. I'm Prince. Brocado instantly felt like she wanted to rescue the. The motel agreed to let her adopt him to conduct a full. By the way, Michael Jackson didn't do nothing wrong. To see if she can find more information or even capture evidence
how do you adopt
of his possession. I think that's a way of saying she bought the clown from the museum.
Oh, okay.
I felt compelled to learn more about this man, and I feel that he wanted to be rescued. The Clown Motel is a competitive environment for clowns. What is it? It's like a coliseum of clowns. Oh, are they going to play? The clowns are fighting to the death.
They play it in that style, but it's the fight music from Star Trek, the original series.
The clowns are fighting to the death while March of the Gladiators is playing. And Brocado is just there going like, I will marry the winner. And then you see all the clowns just like...
Fight!
I will marry the winner. And the clowns are all just like falling on their swords and doing pratfalls.
Stand on his foot, on your nose.
Yeah. Sniff his flower. All come out of that tiny little car. I feel compelled. Oh yeah. The Clown Motel is a competitive environment for clowns. There are hundreds of them, all competing for the visitors' attention. So I wanted to see how
do they fit all those clowns in that little car?
Well, first of all, you've got to take the ashtray out. Hey, do you know a joke about the stuff?
Canard to me, Hobbit.
How many? Oh, you know who? How many of Jimmy Savile's special friends?
That sounds like the sort of joke I used to tell at school when I was a kid.
How many of Jimmy Savile's special friends can Can you fit in a VW Beetle?
Oh dear. Hobbit.
So anyway, Brocado. Why doesn't she marry the ghost of Jimmy Savile? That would gain us some notoriety.
Yeah.
I think I should write to her, just like go up to her house and throw eggs, but in the pattern saying, marry Jimmy Savile.
No. That's not how you do it, Hobbit. What you do is you go, I drove by your house the other day and I saw the ghost of Jimmy Savile outside with the boombox. You got to plant it in her head. You don't just go, why don't you? Blah, blah, blah. You go, Brocado, I went by your house the other day and I saw the ghost of Jimmy Savile outside with a boombox.
Like, all I need to do is take my dowsing rods with me. Just go, oh yeah, strong energy here. Jimmy Savile's here. Is that Jimmy?
Yeah. Strong masculine energy.
He wants you. He says he will fight Eduardo for your hand in marriage. Oh. The gauntlet has been set. Brocado, you are host of Sir Jimmy Savile. At this moment, I only know snippets of information.
What do you think of the flowers
him.
and dots combo then, Hobbit? Is that flowers and dots or flowers and stars combo she's got going on with that dress and thing? She looks like Florence and the Machine a bit, doesn't she?
That's probably what she's going for.
Yeah.
At the moment, I know snippets of information about him, so over the I'm going to try.
Is this the clown now or Eduardo?
This is Brocado talking about the clown.
Oh, because I'm having a lot of trouble keeping up with all of her many lovers.
They come and go like ships in a night.
Yeah.
The Clown Motel has largely been reported as one of the most haunted locations in Nevada.
Apart from her vagina.
Yeah. What is it always about? We got all these motels that were built in the 1950s and they're all run down. So it's like, actually, these are haunted and you can come spend a night here and it's really worth it. Please come to our motel in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Brocado also revealed her thoughts. Maybe. She said, the motel is fascinating, as many murders have been reported on the site over the years, and the circumstances of a lot of deaths have been unpleasant. What, you're telling me murders are unpleasant? Can you name one murder as that was a pleasant murder? It's believed that there are dark forces at work in this area, as it sits near a portal.
I don't know.
Yes, hotels generally do have portals.
I think Ed Kemper was kind of relieved when he murdered his mum.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We covered Ed Kemper before, haven't we?
Have we done? No, I don't think we've done Ed Kemper. Who's your favourite?
I'm sure the name
is Ed Kemper.
I'm sure the name's rung a bell sometime. Mine's Jack the Ripper.
Quite a bit.
My one's Jack the Ripper, who coincidentally was doing a series of East End prostitute murders.
Yeah.
It just happened to be when Mahatma Gandhi was living in the East End of London. The murders stop when Mahatma Gandhi goes to India. Now, I'm not saying that correlation is causation. Well, I am saying there is a correlation there. The clowns.
I don't know who Mahatma Gandhi is, but I know who Mahatma Coat is.
Is the Rumble stream muted, by the way?
Yes.
I don't know what's
Rumble
going on because there's sound on D Live. There's sound everywhere else.
Do you know what the really awful thing? I've gone to JDLE Science Fair. Which, by the way, are you doing anything tomorrow? Because I'd like to watch another episode of that.
Yeah.
Razor, would you be down for that?
There's
problems with Rumble
because there's sound on.
This is Columbo.
There's sound everywhere.
Because here's the thing, right?
Right. Okay then. So I'm running 4 streams at once through. Let's do a bit of tech talk now. Hemi's tech tips. Right. So I'm using Split Cam. Split Cam is sending it off 4 ways: YouTube, Rumble, D Live, and Telegram. I've got audio on YouTube, D Live, Telegram, but not Rumble. So it's something to do with Rumble.
Well, here's the other thing that's wrong with Rumble. Like, for example, I can't play the playback on JTD Science Fair to Mrs. Columbo. However, if I use the scrub feature, I can see various bits of the video. So it's got the data there. It's just it's not playing it. So it's a Rumble problem. It's not an us problem.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to.
I think I could have a go at changing it next week, where I make Rumble I could run Rumble through OBS and then use split cam to go everywhere else.
You can't buy happiness, but you can buy a clown. Ha ha ha. So anyway, back to mental Ben.
Can someone do the joke about Peggy Larchie from Watchmen? Because I can't remember it properly.
It is believed a lot of ghosts still live here. Some have been possessed by the clowns in the museum. There's also a graveyard across the car park. It's not the most cheerful of places, ironically, hence the clowns. After leaving the clown motel, Brocado travelled across the USA with a clown by her side. She's taken him to Hollywood, and they've even had a wild night out in Las Vegas.
That reminds me of that joke. Do you remember the joke where the bloke's walking along the street with a tiger? He said, you can't walk along the street with a... Copper stops him and says, you can't walk along the street with a tiger. Take it to the zoo. So next week, the copper sees the bloke walking down the same street. He goes, what you still got that tiger for? Didn't I tell you to take him in the zoo? He said, yeah, I did. I'm taking him pictures next week.
That reminds me of this joke. So this is a thing. Says, hello, and he starts talking to the Welshman's dog, and the Welshman goes, oh, he's a dog, he doesn't say. He says, yes, he does. So he sort of barks at him, and he says, oh, he tells me you're shepherd. And it's like, and he sort of looks at the dog and looks back. It's like, really? You know, so yeah. And so next day he goes up to him, and I'm sure there's a middle part of this joke, but I've forgotten it. So he sees the Welshman with a sheep. And before that, you talked to another animal, and the animal said something. And the Welshman goes, oh, yeah, okay. But anyway, it's the third time the Englishman's gone up to him, and he goes up to him, and the sheep goes bah, and the Welshman says, look, now you listen here, that sheep's a liar.
Yeah, I remember that joke.
The middle bit sets it up, really. But anyway, Brocado. Clowns have been donated from all over the world. Oh, sweet. Hang on.
What about the other one? What about the other one where the bloke goes to dinner at a mate's house, like absolutely rammed out, everybody's on odd chairs, the fucking lot. So obviously there's a lot of people there. And he says to like the family, he says, oh, your dog's very friendly, and he said, yeah, that's because you're eating from his bowl.
After leaving the clown motel, oh yeah, that's it. So far, there's only been some signs of possession.
Yeah.
So far, he's been a peaceful entity. He's often moving on his own, but nothing that would cause me alarm. I'm hoping that doesn't change now. Oh yeah. I'm hoping that doesn't change now. We have 2 ghosts in the house. She will soon be...
When is Eduardo going to get his fucking marching orders? It's like, hold on a minute, I fucking divorced you years ago. Why don't you fuck off, pal?
No, I'm going to read this verbatim because this is their mistake, not mine. She will soon launch a clown cam so people can keep up to date on her adoption.
The only fucking clown on that is her, am I right?
So yeah, Brocado, she's stood around. So yeah. I'm sorry, but reading about Jimmy Savile and clowns has done my head in.
I gotta say, I'm knackered. I think my modem needs a reset. Anyway,
Internet's dead.
Yeah.
It's 9 o'clock. Can we tell them to fuck off now?
Yeah. Fuckety bye.
Bye, guys.
Maybe I should have finished it when I